Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits news video. Well, I decided to do yet another video here involving my continued saga with the ZAK Bagans Haunted Museum. Those of you that followed my channel here for a good number of years know that I love talking about this museum. I've done maybe about 4 or even 5 videos. I can't remember, I'll have to double check again, but it all has to do with this museum and my trips there and some of the news associated in the past. In this case, though, I have a surprise for everyone here. I actually got a chance to go see the museum yet again, but this time I got to experience it with the all-new ticket level that they have there. They call it the RIP access. So rather than VIP, it's RIP access. Obviously, you know, that's a little twist when it comes to the macabre there associated with the museum. And it has a whole bunch of goodies that I wanted to talk about here. So once again, this will be another mini review of the museum itself, but this time I'm going to focus on all of the exclusive goodies that come with this RIP ticket. If you want to see more of my review of the actual museum itself, I'll include some of the links below, and then that way you'll be able to check it out. It's gotten some good number of views, so people are interested in this, so I'm very, very happy to share this new information here. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. In this case, it's the RIP ticket access tour that I did there at the ZAK Bagans Haunted Museum. So for those keeping count, this will actually be trip number 4 for me for the museum. Can you believe that? 4 times now that I've gone there. Each time it still gets better and better. Definitely a museum that first I recommend go checking out there. If you're a fan of ghosts or spirits or paranormal, of supernatural stuff, this is the place for you. Even if you're just a general fan of museums altogether, it still is a wonderful collection of so many interesting things. Your eye will still not be able to catch everything within the tour itself. But again, if you want more information on the actual museum itself, check out my past links and then you'll see the full details with that. Now let's get to the good stuff. So when it comes to this RIP ticket access, this is a brand new thing. Like as of today, September 6th, this has probably been around for maybe about a month or 2. So it's very, very new. And apparently it started as soon as the areas there in Las Vegas were open for business, or at least some of them got to be able to open for business after this COVID situation occurred. So this is a brand new ticket that costs maybe about $30 more than your regular ticket, but it's supposed to come with a whole bunch of other things. There's actually about 4 things that stand out. Number 1, you'll get to experience some extra rooms just for you because you're an RIP ticket holder. These are just for you exclusively. I'll talk about that more here in a minute. And then you'll also get better views and closer inspections in some other views. And then the other benefit is you'll get more time. Usually, I think it's going to come to about maybe 10 maybe 15 minutes more time there on the tour itself rather than a regular tour. And then the last benefit is you get one big goodie at the end. You get an actual product from Zach's collection of things there in his gift shop. And then that way there's yours as a complimentary thing. So all that information here, I'm going to share one by one for your listening pleasure. But again, I think this RIP ticket started because after everything was opened again, it seems like there's a lot of lighter traffic there in Las Vegas. So it gave me the idea or the notion that this started because you wanted to have something to bring people in to see the museum, especially because there's such light traffic there in Las Vegas now. And then the other thing is you needed something to bring people back. You know, I've seen this thing 3 times already beforehand, and after a certain time period, you're almost thinking to yourself, what else can I see at the museum? Well, then boom, here's this new ticket level, and it's a perfect, absolutely perfect way to be able to bring me back. So I thought it was a really smart idea, this RIP ticket, and I think it's well worth the $30 up front based on everything you're about to hear now. Now, first, let's talk about the extra rooms themselves, the extra benefits you get with these secret rooms. I counted in my memory 4 rooms that you get to experience by yourself as an RIP ticket holder. So here they are. The first one that stands out is there's a room there that apparently had some practitioners do some things involving skeletons. It's a room filled with real skeletons. You have 2 skeletons in there in a set of caskets, and then you have some skulls adorning a area there on one of the walls. And this location is still part of the regular tour, But the extra room that you get to experience is a quote unquote secret tunnel that you get to shuffle through. I know it's going to sound weird, but apparently the way the story goes, the way the tour guide was stating it, these practitioners would do the very same thing. They would build these secret tunnels and then shuffle along on their hands and their knees to reach certain rooms where they did these practices within their religion or whatever thing they were doing in terms of the burial of these skeletons. So you get to experience that type of item right there in that room itself. So it's a walled off area, but there's a tiny little hole that you go through. It goes into a small tunnel, and then there you are on your hands and your knees, basically going into that dark tunnel and then circling around, or I'm sorry, taking like a right turn eventually at another point and then exiting at another part of the house. Fair warning though, this secret room that you get to experience as part of the RIP ticket holder, it's a small room. In other words, it's a small tunnel. So it's very claustrophobic. I mean, I barely fit through there. And I don't consider myself very big at all. And I was also expecting a jump scare as well, but no, that didn't end up happening. But very claustrophobic. It's very dark. You pretty much only have one set of light coming through, and that's at the very, very end. So you're going to experience that as well. So if you have bad knees or if you're too big for the tunnel itself, this may not work for you. But otherwise, it is an optional item. These RIP secret rooms, you don't have to take them if you don't want to, but they're there obviously because you purchased the extra set of benefits associated with that. So that's the first room that stood out. The second room, the big one, the most anticipated one for me, was this. The basement, the big dark basement, the one that's been featured heavily on some of the past Ghost Adventure episodes, and then also on their most recent quarantine episode. And I think they were also featured on one of the Halloween episodes as well, about 2 years or so ago. This was the room I was wanting to inspect the most. I was wanting to inspect it from the very first day, the very first tour that I took there at the museum back in about, was it 2017 or so? And it's been off limits ever since that time period up until now. Now, if you have the RIP ticket, then you get to walk straight into it. No restrictions. You actually get to go straight down on your own into that room, and you get to experience it exactly as Zach did within that area. So, yes, indeed, it was a pretty frightful experience. It was very intimidating to go down into that area, but I went there and I was by myself. Can you believe that? 100% by myself. This is dream come true type stuff when it comes to a scenario like this, because I get to experience the most haunted room in this entire museum, and I got to do it by myself, and I got to go in that area that Zach was. So I got to walk into that tunnel, the one that had that shadow person rush Zach at one point in one of the quarantine episodes. Then I got to go into the center of the room where all the satanic rituals happen. That's a really creepy room too. I definitely felt that something was down there. You have a very heavy presence down in that location. No joke. It does feel very heavy. The minute you get out of it, the minute you get back up to the regular part of the areas of the tour, everything feels fine. But when you're going down there, it is absolutely very heavy. Not only that, but it feels like you're also being watched. That is true. You actually do feel like something else is down there with you, even though I was 100% by myself. So in that Satanic Room area, they do have, it looks like a little mini statue of the devil himself on one side of the room, and then in the middle of the room, if I recall correctly, I think there was a table, and then there was a pentagram somewhere there as well, and then there's also a speaker and an electronic device in the room, one of those voice recorders, or I'm sorry, EMF, not EMF, but one of those devices like a spirit box that constantly makes those noises and words jump out of nowhere. So that way, something is down there, it'll communicate with you if you try to communicate with it, or it might just do it on its own. In fact, while I was down there, I heard two distinct words come through that device. One was the word demon, and then the other one was the word spirit. So I heard those two specific words clear as day come through that device. I was able to spend maybe about 2 or 3 minutes down there by myself. I asked a couple of questions, like asking, what's my name? Nothing answered. And then I asked how many people are there, trying to make sure that it could say one, but nothing happened as well either. So it chose, whatever it was down there, it chose not to answer any of my questions. but it definitely let me know that there was a demon and a spirit somewhere down there in that location. So yes, if you're going to get the RIP ticket for one reason only, get it for the basement. Again, heavy precaution on this. This is a very intense room. If you're going down there, be sure to realize what you're doing, because you're going into the most haunted room in the entire area. And again, it's strictly voluntary, but why not, right? I mean, if you're paying the extra money and you get the chance to do this, then absolutely do so. So I went there just straight out the bed, and whenever I came back out, the tour guide asked, how everything went, and I told him that it felt very heavy in there, and I told him about the words I heard, and then, yeah, he was mentioning that is strictly one of the most haunted rooms in the entire location. Some of the tour guides don't even go down there themselves because of how much stuff is in that room. So yes, basement, big benefit. Absolutely loved it, and well worth the actual ticket itself. Now, the other secret room that comes to mind is this. I don't know why it was a room in of itself in the first place. Apparently, the story goes like this. The tour guide said it was whenever the house was bought by ZAK and then he was renovating it, they in turn found their own secret room in the house, and that was this room. This room contained, it's weird, like it contains maybe about 40 or 50 different faces. Like, in other words, sculptures of faces. They almost look like death masks. Those masks that are made of people after they're deceased. That's what it looked like there. And they're all adorning just one wall, and all of them are of different people. Nobody knows who those people are. Nobody has any identification as to why it was done, but they were found in that room, and it was like almost a walled off room whenever ZAK was doing the renovation. So this room is an area you get to visit as part of the RIP access. It was just a weird room altogether. I had no idea again why it existed. There really wasn't much information to give because the people there on the museum and everyone that, including ZAK, didn't have much info themselves. But it's part of the VIP access, so you get to look at all these weird looking, almost like death masks, and then just walk out. So that's the other room. And then the fourth room that I can think of is this. This was a room that was actually featured very heavily on one of the recent quarantine episodes. This was the one that Aaron went into that circus room where he opened up the wagon, like there was a wheel of a wagon, and then he shuffled through a secret tunnel to an area in the back behind the wall that goes underneath some stairs. If you've seen that quarantine episode, in fact, I featured it and when I talked about it on one of my recent videos a couple of months back, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This was an area that Aaron was by himself and he was attacked. He was full-blown attacked, like something touched him on the side and then started constantly causing him pain as well while he was in that room. Well, you don't get to go into that room itself, although the person that was there, the showman, was telling me that they're thinking about actually making that an experience too, where you get to shuffle along that secret tunnel just like Aaron did, and you get to go into that room itself. That's maybe for the future, but for now at least, you get to peer into it through a cutout hole. So it's almost like a little makeshift hole, that like a window of sorts, that you get to stick your head in and then look around the entire room itself. And next to that room is an electronic meter. It'll showcase any spikes if there's any activity there. So that showman that was in the room stated that people have seen shadow people within the room. They've heard giggling. There was a voice of a little girl as well that was heard there, and then people have been touched as well within that room itself. So that is the fourth secret room that I could think of that you get access to within the VIP or the RIP ticket. So again, first room is a secret tunnel that's located with those skeletons. Second room is the big one, the basement, the one that you finally get to explore. Third room is the room full of all those hidden, weird-looking death masks of sort. And then the fourth room is another secret tunnel area, the one that involved Aaron's location where he was attacked. So those are the ones that you get access to, at least when it comes to the extra rooms. And then the other benefit you get are better views / inspections. And what I mean is this: all the other rooms that come with the regular tour, you get better access to those up front. So for example, when you walk into the room itself, because you have your RIP lanyard, which is another benefit that you'll get. You saw it on my thumbnail there, that lanyard associated with that. Well, you get the easiest, best spot in the room. So for example, like the Crying Boy room, you get to see the Crying Boy painting right up front. Like you get to stand in that location. That reminds me too, all the rooms now have special spots, the social distancing spots, because of the cautionary stuff associated with this whole COVID situation. So and then when you go into those rooms, you'll see those spots all around it, and you're supposed to be standing at those spots specifically. Well, if you have the RIP ticket, then you're able to actually stand in the best spot with the best views in each room. So that was really, really neat too, because that was something that was a little frustrating with some of my past tours, where if you're going into a room, it's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes you get good views, other times you won't. Now you'll have the best views all the time up front. Now you do have some rooms where you rotate, so even though you have the best view up front, you can still go to other parts of the room and you'll be rotating with some of the other guests. But the key point is you'll always have the best view up front within each of the rooms. So that definitely stood out. Another example is this, the Devil's Rocking Chair. In that room, you get to finally go past the gated area and you get to inspect the Devil's Rocking Chair up close and personal. Like you can actually bend down and look straight at it inches away. Like that's how close you can get to it, which was really, really neat. And you get to see everything associated with that chair, as opposed to like the experience I had on a regular tour where I was stuck behind people and I had no chance of getting any kind of view for it. So definitely worth on that part. So that gives you an idea. Better views and inspections is another benefit. Plus the spots that you're given give you access to the tour guide first. So if you have any questions, then you get to stand out first and you'll be able to ask them up front. And then the other benefit that comes is this. The best, one of the best goodies is a free shirt. You saw it on the thumbnails here on the video. That shirt comes free with the actual ticket. That shirt in of itself, I think it's around $30. So the price of the upgrade itself, which is $30 as well, is automatically all those benefits I was mentioning earlier, and that makes the shirt free. So basically you're getting the free shirt because of the RIP access ticket. So that's really, really neat. That is a free item that you get at the end of the tour. Be sure to keep your lanyard, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to be getting that shirt. Otherwise, if you just toss it away before things are finished, you're not going to be able to get it. But definitely recommend, again, getting the RP access, because it's only $30 extra. You get all those extra benefits involving those secret rooms and involving those better views and inspections, and then you get a free shirt. So how about that when it comes to that type of experience? Now, I wanted to mention this too as two additional bonuses. Number one, I wanted to talk about a wish list. So everything that's coming with this RIP access, there's still some items that I was hoping to see. Maybe this is something that, again, if Zach is seeing this info, or if anyone else with the museum is seeing this info, that I would hope that it could be added into the RIP access tour. This would be a really great way to, I think, to get more people interested in this ticket. Number one is the Lee Shapiro room. I thought that was a perfect opportunity if they had a special access like into the room herself, like the room that she's sitting in, like the doll that's made up of her, like a character of her, and the equipment that she actually used. If you get to go into that room itself and maybe even sit in that room, in that chair type area, and then get to hear the equipment up close and personal, that would have been awesome. I would have loved that particular item on the wish list. Same thing with the Demon House. There's another one there too. I wish there was an option there where you get to go past the gate and into the area that the Demon House stairs and the dirt is at. Maybe walk around, see it up close and personal, that kind of stuff. So if that can be included in another part of the RIP access, then yes, please, I highly recommend that. And then also with Pegy the doll, that was another thing on my wish list. I was hoping that there was a better opportunity to spend a couple more minutes with Pegy and interact with her more, ask more questions. Instead, it's still more on the lines of a minute or so, and I was hoping that it would be more. So those are the three wish lists that I have. Lee Shapiro room, more access to her and the equipment, Demon House, more access to seeing those stairs and the dirt up close and personal. And then Pegy the doll, more access when it comes to asking her questions, especially with the equipment that she has right there. And then the second bonus I wanted to give to everyone here is this. Here's a sneak peek of something that is happening right next door to the museum. Look at this house here. This is a house that apparently ZAK bought, and he was talking about it in one of the quarantine episodes. This is a haunted house too. This is a real life haunted house. Something is happening there with regards to the original owner. It was some older woman who died in one of those rooms and it still haunts that location. But you can see from the outside here that something is occurring. Like they're building it, they're renovating it. You can see that they have the little demon-like gargoyle that's already standing out in some of the statues there, and they've already painted it to match what it looks like is the haunted museum as well. My guess as to what they're going to do with this house, I think they're going to make it into a multi Airbnb. In other words, they're going to have all those rooms with a chance to be rented out on a nightly basis. Who knows how many rooms there are? I'm guessing like 4 rooms, something like that. So maybe there's an opportunity there to be able to rent those 4 rooms on a nightly basis with the idea that here's a chance you could not only stay in a haunted house, but stay overnight next door to the most haunted museum in the entire world. So who knows when it comes to that? And maybe even then they might have a nightly tour as well, an overnight tour into the museum too as part of the package. Those are just stuff that I'm throwing out, but they're definitely doing something to that house, and no doubt it's going to be tied to the museum itself, and I can't wait to see what that is. If it truly is some kind of Airbnb, I'm there. I'm definitely there. Next time I'm in Vegas, I'm going to be able to stay in that location, or if it's something else different altogether, we shall see, but I'll definitely be reporting it for everyone here. So alright everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed this news video, this almost special edition video associated with the ZAK Bagans Haunted Museum, the RIP Access Tour, and all the rich details associated with it. I do recommend it. Do get the upgrade. It's well worth the extra money, well worth the extra time, all the benefits that come with it, and then that way you'll get to truly experience the best out of the entire museum. Alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.